Welcome everyone. Just double checking, is my microphone working? I've just had a switch.
Yes, it's
Yes.
working.
Awesome. All right, I'm just gonna let some more people into the session.
Do you have Susmita and Ryan on that invite?
Yes, should have. Yes, I think I did get a confirmation from Ryan and Susmita that they did get the invite. All right. Maybe we just kick off. We'll kick off now. Yes, thanks, Michelle. Could everyone maybe we'll just introduce ourselves in the chat, maybe what degree you study, what uni you're at, and maybe where you're based. For me, when I was in uni, I studied at UNSW and I did a commerce and informations degree. Cool. Masters of IT, University of Queensland. Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else wants to also share where they are from? Data science at RMIT. Awesome. So based in Melbourne, Monash. Got a couple of people from Melbourne. Software engineering at UNSW. Yes, a fellow UNSW peer. Great. All right. I think we will just kick off. I can see a couple more comments in the chat. Keep them coming. We'll just kick off for now. So welcome everyone to the MSA Monthly Connect session. My name is Chloe. I am a Copilot Technical Specialist, and in today's session, we are focusing on kickstarting your career in tech. We've gotten a lot of requests from students about how can they upskill themselves, how can they leverage their skills and create their career in tech. And so just before I begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land and their continuing connection to our community. I'd also like to pay respect to them, their culture, the elders, both past and present. And so, like I said, I am the host for today's session. You may have seen me before in some of the other MSA sessions that I've hosted. I am a Copilot technical specialist, so I do demos for customers around Copilot. If you have used that before, yeah, that is my role at Microsoft, but I also am part of the Microsoft Student Accelerator, so I do these sessions monthly. All right, and just a quick overview of the agenda today. We will kick off with some MSA reminders. We'll go into a panel session around student boot camps and how you can kickstart your career, and followed by questions and answers. So if you do have any questions, feel free to add them in the chat as we do the panel session, or also you can have the opportunity to come off mute and also ask your questions. So quick reminder about Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. If you do wish to become an ambassador, there is a link on the screen for you to apply. And if you don't know what that is, it's a program that's designed for students that are really passionate about technology and eager to share their knowledge with other people. What you'll get out of this is that you will develop your technical skills, also your leadership skills through AI-driven projects, and you can also set up workshops or create video tutorials as well if you're a creative person. I also do want to highlight the Microsoft Student Hub, which contains a ton of free resources, and some of them are pictured on the screen here. I do want to call out the GitHub Student Developer Pack that a lot of students enjoy if you are a bit more technical. It's a great resource to learn a little bit more about software development and also just practice your skills. And so this session, and like a lot of our sessions as well, they are all recorded and they are uploaded onto Michelle Sanford's YouTube channel. There is a link just at the bottom of the screen there to some of our business sessions and also the technical sessions that have been held previously in the past. So if there is anything that you have missed out on in this session, you can also watch it on YouTube to catch up. We also have a Microsoft Source newsletter, which is a curated content for the developer community. So if you're interested in learning about new technologies and want to find other opportunities to connect with the developers, this is a really good source. And you also find information about things like hackathons, technical training sessions, and global developer conferences. So I would just leave that QR code for you if you just want to grab your cameras and take a photo of that. And I would just move on in a couple of seconds once you've got that down. Great. And just to keep your cameras up as well, we've also got Facebook and LinkedIn groups as well. So on the left-hand side is the QR code to access our Facebook group. And then on the right-hand side is for LinkedIn. This is just to build that community where you can stay also up to date on any announcements for different events, learning opportunities, and also workshops. And lastly, something exciting as well is in-person events. So if you want to stay up to date with in-person events, feel free to scan this QR code on the right-hand side. There was an event, I think a couple months ago in Melbourne. So we do hold in-person events for MSA. There is also one coming up in Sydney in the next couple of months, and we'll let you know all about the details very soon. Great. So those are the MSA reminders. I'm now going to flick over to this screen to introduce you to the Student Bootcamps panel. I'd like to introduce Catherine Ennis. She is a Future Ready Skills Specialist. Susmita Matthew, software engineer, and she's also a Master's IT student. And Ryan Fox, junior SOC analyst, and he's also a cybersecurity student. Thank you so much for joining. Would you all like to come off mute and maybe just introduce yourselves to these students?
Sure. Who would like to go first?
You start, Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, cool. My name is Ryan Fox. I'm a third-year Bachelor of Cybersecurity student at Deakin University in Victoria. I'm probably going to be doing honours, which is exciting. I've been really enjoying my time at university, and I thought, why not do even more of it? So that's cool. I've recently got into a junior security analyst role at a small company called Kappa Intelligence. All really cool people, and I've been loving it. And I started my journey by doing a certification in this bootcamp by doing SC 900. So yeah, I'm excited to hopefully say how awesome the journey was with you guys. Catherine, would you like to go next?
Ryan, so good to have Ryan here. Delighted he could join us and share his experience on the boot camps. You might have heard Michelle talk about the boot camps. Michelle has been a long-standing supporter, advocate, champion. She's been in nearly, I think, all the boot camps from day one, delivering study cram sessions for AI 900. These boot camps run now twice a year, usually winter and summer. And we encourage students in higher ed and TAFE to take part, get certified, and boost your LinkedIn profile with these certifications to show yourself to employers as people with skills in the products that they are using in their business. Thanks, and back to you, Chloe.
Thanks, Catherine. Do we have Susmita on the call? Just double checking if she's on the call.
I don't need to see her there. I've just sent her a little message to see if
Okay. No problem. All right, maybe we'll just let Susmita join. We'll just ping her and see if she would join. But all right, we're just going to kick off with some of these questions that I've got prepared, and we will move into some of the questions that you might have as the audience. So first one for Ryan. Oh, sorry, actually, I forgot. Before we kick into the questions, Catherine, I know you have a presentation to talk a little bit about these student boot camps. Feel free to share your screen. And talk to the students about it.
Thanks, Chloe, for the opportunity to talk about our boot camps. I did just want to touch a little bit on Work Trend Index that was done in 2024, and it reached out to 31,000 people across 31 countries about what they're hearing about AI and what's becoming important. And it's saying a lot now these days. And I mean, this was last year. I can only imagine what's happening now this year is that 66% of leaders were found in this report said they would not hire someone without AI skills. And while the bootcamp is not just AI, it seems to be covering and touching nearly all the certifications that we do now and all the training that we do. It seems to be becoming even more of an imperative to have these skills. Just last year as well, the kind of things that people were seeing in their LinkedIn profiles, these AI aptitudes, a lot of creatives, and of course IT skilled people adding these things to their profiles, letting people know they have these aptitudes that are going to make them more in demand for the workforce. And something else also to consider, even though we do talk a lot about the AI skills, be that the coding, the programming, the generative AI skills, all the prompting, other things that are important as well to keep in mind and to keep building on that you're already getting probably through your own course content. And that is, being analytical, being flexible, having emotional intelligence. So being able to actually create your own prompts, do your own prompts, but actually evaluate what that prompt is giving back to you and being able to evaluate, is it actually the right thing that I need for whatever I'm building at that time? So it's a good thing to keep in mind those skills that you will learn through our bootcamp, but also the kind of skills that you need from an EQ point of view that also make you even more employable when you're going into the workforce. If I just jump along to the bootcamp overview. And this one is our winter bootcamp. We have 4 certifications available this year, and that is AZ900, which is your cloud one, Microsoft 365, M365, which we have not offered for quite a while, but is a really good entry point to get across all the products within Microsoft. Of course, we've got AI 900, and Michelle Sanford is generously coming on board again this year to deliver the study cram and also a demo session. We have security, which Ryan mentioned, the SE 900, and we have lots involved in that scaffolded experience, which is over 2 weeks. It's completely online. Oh, George, you're excited about SE 900. Good to see. All these certifications are something that you can get an exam in at the end, and it's a really good value price, I have to say, without sounding too sexy, I hope. 59 AUD is a really good way to get certified. Normally it's 99 USD or 69 USD if you have a student profile, which you would all have. But even still, that only gets you the exam voucher. This experience gets you access to Microsoft experts. You have a mentoring session at the end, which means you're going to be in a speed mentoring session with Microsoft most valuable professionals who are working across the industry in lots of Microsoft skill sets and products. So you're not just getting your certification, you're getting embedded with the ecosystem, with the experts that I mentioned. And also we're going to have GitHub join us as well in their own session. And we'll have LinkedIn colleagues coming as well to share with you how you can build your profile. I'll show you a little bit more here in this 2-week overview. Now, the blue sessions there are the live sessions. So you have time to go and do your self-paced learning, but then also come back and join us with all the questions that you may have. Microsoft Learn, the self-learning platform, which you go through and do a lot of your own learning. And you can also use our open learning platform, which our training partner, is helping us deliver this program with. So they may look like full days, but they're not. They're only a couple of hours per day. And these sessions, depending on which cert you're picking, maybe you may only just do A900. Of course, we only suggest really that you should do one cert at a time. Now, you might be able to buy more than one cert, and that means you have up to 3 months to get certified using that exam voucher. So it may be an opportunity you'd like to take advantage of now. But in terms of if it's your first certification, I would say just do one and see how you go, because then you're able to get a sense of, okay, this is what it means to get certified. This is what an industry certification looks like. And you're able to kind of just focus. The 2 week session or program helps you kind of ring fence your time rather than leaving it on the long finger, which can be the challenge with doing online courses. You might think, oh, I have time to do it, I can take my time. But I suppose the 2 weeks is trying to encourage people to think about just getting it done and moving on, because it's a great satisfaction at the end to say, I've got it, and you can go and move on with your life and get on with your second session or your graduate studies. I think I'm getting too excited. I'm spending too long, and we need to get on to talking to Ryan, who actually had the experience of the boot camp. But just to show that these are the kind of things that you can get. You can get a certificate of completion by just completing the course content alone, course content on itself by itself, or when you actually get certified and you do the exam. And as I said, you have up to 3 months to use your exam voucher to get certified. You'll get this lovely cert that is a credential that can be uploaded to your resume. And employers can see that when you got certified and when you did the exam, fundamentals don't expire. You have them forever. Other ones, the higher level ones, you do have to, I think, every 1 to 2 years. Michelle has to do this regularly. So that's something to keep in mind as well. That fundamental is for life. Some of our speakers here, you can see that they're from across all different kinds of skill sets, data and AI, security, Azure. We have our colleagues here from LinkedIn. We have our GitHub colleagues here, and of course, Michelle. And so there's lots of ways and opportunities to get connected with these colleagues of ours. We love being connected with you, sharing our LinkedIn profiles. These are Microsoft mentors and MVPs, and they're involved in the last session, our celebration session, where we come together, celebrate the fact you got certified, but also get you connected with other people in the industry. And this is really exciting. We love this session. People come back really energized, and there's a lot of buzz and a great opportunity to get connected with industry. Myself and Vicky are going to be the main hosts. Thanks, George. What a dream team. And we'll be working with you or collaborating with you. And we'll have some other guest hosts as well join us. I'm hoping to have a few people pop in, take my place, because I don't want to do all the talking. I want to hear from other people who know more about tech than me. And just finally, this free program we're running right now. If you want to get started on something, don't want to wait until July. This is on building AI agents, and it's a 4 to 5 hour training. We've got 3 more intakes, June 10th. I'm going to say, anyway, the next 3 weeks. Next week is our next intake. You're more than welcome to join and take advantage of this free training. You get access to a demo environment until the end of June to build an AI agent of your own. And I'm in the bubble of Microsoft. I hear about AI agents all the time, and you may actually see this reaching out into the LinkedIn, system. We're always posting about it, but AI agents are going to be massive. So if you want to get a sense of what it's like to build one, if you've come from a no tech background, this program will still help you understand. I'm learning how to build AI agents. I have not come from a tech background. This is very accessible. So you've joined, tell your friends if they're interested in getting a little bit into tech if they've not already done so. And finally, our 2 QR codes. On the left, you'll see the bootcamp, the certification one, our 2-week July program. And this is the other program here that I mentioned that is running right now until the end of June. We'd love to see you there. Thanks, Chloe.
Thanks, Catherine. What a great overview about all the different things you can learn from the boot camps. I definitely can attest to learning about AI skills and agents. For me, as a co-pilot technical specialist, we are talking about this all the time. And I would just like really great tip as well. I saw a couple of comments in the question in the section asking about, how can we upskill ourselves? the job market's a little bit difficult to find a job at the moment. And I do want to emphasize that learning about AI skills can actually put you at the forefront because you are keeping up to date with the trends about agents and things like that. And if you don't know what that is, there's definitely a lot of different Microsoft Learn resources to help you get a basic understanding about agents and some of the AI skills. And a bootcamp is another great way to learn a little bit more about that. So highly recommend it. All right. I've got a couple of questions prepared, and then we will also jump into some of the questions in the chat. But firstly, I do want to ask Ryan, since you were an attendee, what motivated you to join the student boot camps?
Thank you. I've always enjoyed learning, especially in the field that I'm studying in uni, and one that I love. So, considering the boot camps offered something that I could further that even more outside of university, I was just excited to do it, and it was a perfect opportunity for someone like me.
Awesome. And when you were starting in, what were your expectations going in? And then what was the outcome and how did the experience overall compare?
Since this was my first certification within my field, I was expecting to be a bit like overwhelmed with the material, for it to be too advanced to understand and too technical for a beginner even. However, it was quite the opposite. I felt like everything was taken at a reasonable pace, even with the short hours per day, and I left feeling like I understood all the topics, which was awesome. And I felt like I was able to then even use them today in my current job as a SOC analyst.
Awesome. And I think something I guess you also indirectly mentioned is that concept about a growth mindset. You had expectation that it might be a little overwhelming, but you embraced that growth mindset and had an open mind to learn about all these different skills as well, which I think is a really great example of what someone at Microsoft might be looking for as well. So really great experience there. And Ryan, what do you think was like maybe the most valuable skill that you learned during the boot camps? Was it technical? Was it soft skills? Was it a mix of both? What did you learn?
Um, I'd say it was a bit of a soft skill that kind of turned into a technical one, so it's a bit of an odd one. But specifically, it was confidence, and from that confidence, it then transferred into learning more about tech. I felt a lot more overall confident leaving this exam. I felt like the certifications weren't as big and scary as I originally imagined, but something that's designed to be worked towards and achieved, something to help me in my journey and not knock me down. And this greatly helped my learning journey throughout the years, considering a lot more that I thought was impossible became achievable.
Yeah, great example. I can totally relate to that. I remember when I first did my exam, which was the MS 900, I was
Hmm.
freaked out. I was so nervous because I felt like it was like a university exam all over again, being proctored and everything. But it was definitely not as scary as it seems. And as Catherine mentioned, that it is a huge discount as well that you're getting from the boot camps with that voucher. So it's a really great opportunity for you to do this exam and upskill yourself.
It
Cool.
prepares you really well for the exam too, which is great. I found the boot camp was perfect.
Awesome. And Ryan, did you also have a look at other maybe like resources as well after the boot camp to help you with your certifications? I know we saw a couple of questions in the chat about the certification side of things.
Do you mean like going beyond SC 900? Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe. Yeah.
well, like there were other options I was looking at as well. Some things like in my field, for example, there's things like security plus, or other things that I can develop further. But what I found to be specifically useful is developing skills in niche areas. So when I went from SE 900, I found roadmaps that Microsoft had made, such as going for things like AI 900 or SC 200. And all of these things really do help guide me into the area that I'm in currently. So I think looking outside for other resources that give you a bigger roadmap are super useful, especially when there are, companies like Akotis that do offer areas that support that, like boot camps that do support that. So hopefully this has some a bit of ideas that could help other people as well.
Great. Thanks, Ryan, for sharing. And after attending the boot camps, has it shaped your career in some sort of way? Have you now set on a path that you want to follow for your career, or how has it influenced you?
Yeah, definitely. Again, going back to like when I left the exam originally and I felt a lot more confident in what I wanted to pursue, it kind of had a domino effect where it was more so like, oh, okay, what was originally a barrier is now achievable. It kind of made my, eyes open to different things that I could do. I always wanted to have a cybersecurity club at my university, and I thought that's too big of a project. I couldn't do that. And then I tried it, and it worked really well. And now so many people at the uni are really enjoying it. And then, going for other certifications as well and being too scared to do those. And now it's a lot more achievable, has been great. And even applying for jobs and going to interviews. And I guess overall, just being a lot more comfortable with the idea of rejection and then even then still succeeding through it has been a great domino effect from something like this certification.
Thanks, Ryan, for sharing. And another question I've got is what should students do to make the most out of their student bootcamp experience? So we've talked about joining them and also getting those like vouchers to upskill yourself. What would you say is also another important thing to do? Is it networking or how can they make the most out of it?
I think networking with the idea of making friends has been very valuable for me at least. When I went to the boot camp, I actually met one of my friends, Vasal Dam, and he was amazing. I met him through the boot camp specifically, and we've been talking for years since. He's actually one of my close friends now. So I'd say, feeling comfortable reaching out to peers as well as like boot camp staff and team members, just to try and have the idea of making friends. And if they do become like part of your network in relation to work, that's awesome. But just being friendly overall, I found to be a great way to find more of who I am and where I want to pursue within my future career as well. So I find that to be one of the more valuable experiences within the bootcamp as well.
Cool. So you also made friends. Did you also have the opportunity to maybe connect with anyone from Microsoft and help you shape your career? Or yeah, what was that like in the boot camps?
Yeah, I had some really good chats with Catherine, which had been lovely. I had some chats directly afterwards, and we were able to talk a little bit, which was really nice. And then I had some chats with Vicky as well, and they were really lovely. I believe they're both from like a Coda specifically, but they're I guess Microsoft adjacent, which has been nice. And then I saw before that Terry Lynch was part of the team, and I'm close friends with him as well. And I ended up bonding with him specifically because I had done SC900 before and said how awesome it was after I met him after Midsummer 2024 for the Pride event there. That was really fun. But yeah, I did bond through Microsoft Team as well.
Thanks, Ryan, for sharing. I can see that you've definitely made some friends along the way, talked to Microsoft employees as well, and built a really large network from these boot camps. I'm curious to know, after these boot camps, how did you maintain these connections, maintain your network after the event? Because networking, I think, does not just stop at the initial meet, but it also continues on after. How did you maintain your connections that you met at the student boot camps?
That's a good question. I've definitely met a lot of people in in my time at university and onwards, and there are some people that are really cool and really awesome, but you tend to miss like the click with them. And then if you do end up clicking with them, I find it a lot easier to stay with them. I think one of the biggest things that did help with that click when making those connections and making that my network bigger was really just finding a common ground to bond on. For example, when I was talking with Terry, I was just talking about SA100, and although he hasn't done it before, he has, found his enjoyment through the growth mindset. And I was able to talk with him about that and say, oh, I've loved learning about this so much. Do you have any recommendations for learning even more? And he's recommended different pathways for that. So I think keeping those connections and keeping those bonds is really just finding some sort of common ground to bond over, and then checking in every now and again to see how that common ground is doing and some other things about what's new with their life. I found that to be best for me.
I really like that tip you shared about finding a common ground with the people that you meet because I think for one, it makes you more memorable. They will end up remembering who you are and what you talked about because you had something in common to talk about. And I think that is a really useful tip for the students that are on this call when it comes to networking and you're at large events like student boot camps. Really great tip, Brian.
Thank you, Chloe.
Um, Question actually following from that as well. So you probably made a great impression amongst everyone in the boot camps because you were memorable. You also did all the different like certifications. You met a lot of people as well and built your network. How can students also stand out or make a strong impression during the boot camps?
Yeah, thank you very much. I made some notes on this one because I found that it did get me thinking a little bit, and I do appreciate your comments. Thank you. But what I did specifically was reaching out where possible. For example, I've really found to stand out. I had to do was try and just be helpful and be supportive of others. I think that's probably the best way to make friends overall, especially in the workplace in general. But what I did was I was leaving comments on posts or interacting with those around me, being open and friendly, and people tended to be the same back with me, which was great. And I found I was able to stand out a bit more when I was trying to show that support. I was able to recommend some of the notes I'd written, or perhaps recommend useful tools that I found along the way. But overall, just offering support to others was what ended up making me stand out.
Great. Thank you for sharing, Ryan. And really great tip as well that you shared as well is helping others. So you took away some of the learnings that you got from the student boot camps and shared your notes with other people. I think that is such a great way to build a community, help others out, because I think people would really appreciate your help. And yeah, super great tip coming from you, Ryan. All right. Does anyone have any questions? I think I saw some in the chat. I would love to open the floor to questions. I think I saw one earlier around, let me just have a look at the chat. So, Shruti, I think you had a question around you have two postgraduate high honor roll awards, and it's tough to land a good job here in Australia. Is there something that I could be helped with? Ryan, Catherine, Michelle, do you have any insight on this question?
Would you be able to quickly say that one more time for me? Sorry.
So Shruti's asked, they've got a double master's graduate in IT and IT management, and they also have some other credentials as well, but they think it's a bit hard to land a good job here in Australia. Is there something that we can do to help?
Yeah, that's yeah, it's definitely a bit of a difficult situation to find your first major job in Australia. Um, really, major job in tech is difficult at the moment, but I think if you are coming from mostly theory-based backgrounds, if you're going for degrees, perhaps I'm unsure how practical these universities may be, but what I've found when I've been talking to interviewers through multiple stages, as well as at the job and everything like that, what they're really looking for is how you're then implementing this theory. So if you're going for like for example, a security analyst role, hypothetically, what you could do is try and make your own like security analyst center, your own like SOC center online. And there are lots of projects that help walk you through this step by step. So to break that down into more of a universal statement, if there's a job that you want within tech, and there is some area within that tech field that you can recreate, I would highly recommend that because when you're going on your CV or your resume, you're able to say, although I haven't been in this role yet, I have been able to do my best to follow through with what it would be like in that environment. And I am as prepared as someone could be from someone who hasn't had the role yet. That's from my perspective.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan, for sharing. And I think that's a really great example of what you can do to show initiative because you went and had to play around maybe like a demo environment and done like an example of what someone in a day in life that role would be doing. And I think that's a really great way to show that you're being proactive to your hiring manager and employer. So that they know that you're actually super keen for this role and you are the ideal candidate. So thank you for sharing that one. I do also, well, I also can totally relate, Shruti, to your comment. I actually applied for Microsoft 3 times. I did not make it in the first two goes, so I definitely can feel um, just opening that little bit of vulnerability. I did apply 3 times and I didn't get into the first 2 times, but I think what helped me stand out is just perseverance. It is tough and Microsoft is not an easy place to be hired as well, but just perseverance, upskill yourself in like, for example, the boot camps, the different certifications you can do. Build your network and even joining this Microsoft Student Accelerator session is a really great way to improve your visibility because we will now remember you on the call as well. So, just showing up, asking questions, we will remember you. And if there is a situation where your name appears, we remember you and we can like vouch for you as well. So, yeah, joining these sessions is another great way to build your visibility. Catherine, anything else maybe you want to add, or I'm not sure if Michelle's still on the call.
don't have to drop, but she did drop in the chat. The meetup.com groups, meet industry on their own ground at their offices and chat to them while they learn. I would really get behind that comment and agree that, you know, networking is so important. It's, you really have to kind of put yourself out there a lot and be memorable, as Ryan mentioned in like the boot camps even. I think going outside the online normal application process and actually meeting people face to face if you can is energy worth spent. You don't know where it's going to lead to, but just meeting people and connecting with them and letting them see who you are face to face be massively important. A lot jobs I've experienced in the past where you're applying and you don't know where your application is going, but if you meet people and they know that you're looking and you're just even getting like finding common ground first. I think, yeah, of course, you don't want to go up and say, hey, I'm looking for a job. You want to get to know people, share your passions and your interests, and show them that you're a real person before you start looking for a job with them. But it's just being out there, being known. If you can spend any energy at all in that space rather than online applications, I would encourage you to do that. And I just popped something as well there. It's called Forage. I'm not sure how many students are across it right now, but it does give you kind of a job simulation process. You know, there is some IT security data job simulations there, which you might like to add to your resume. Might give you something to talk about maybe when you meet these employers in that industry.
Thanks, Catherine, for putting that link in. Another great resource for students to have a look at as well. Got a question from Deepu. I'm not sure, maybe Catherine is, I'm not sure if you might know someone, but they're looking for a data analyst role or intern positions. Um, they have completed a master's in data science. Maybe do you know anyone that you could point them to?
Well, it's funny. Susmita actually, I think, has done a data in her for her background, and I'm sorry we don't seem to have her with us today, but she'll be in the boot camp talking about her experience. There are some data job simulations I've noticed on Forage if they want to have a look at. But what was the other part? Was it to connect them with somebody or?
Yeah, connect with someone.
I don't know anybody directly, but we are uploading our mentors to the landing page, the bootcamp landing page this week, I think, and you might see somebody you would like to connect with in the bootcamp. But if they want to drop me a message on LinkedIn and if there's somebody I can think of or I think they'd like to connect with in the future, I'd be happy to see what I could do.
Great, thanks for offering some help, Catherine. And Deepa, maybe joining the boot camps, you might meet someone there who has like maybe got a role in data science or data analyst role. So I think meeting through people there, maybe they can also direct you to someone as well with that kind of experience. Let's see what else we've got in the chat. Does anyone else feel free to come off mute as well if you've got a question? You don't always have to type in the chat as well. Any other questions?
I might quickly add as well, people that are curious and might already have like a Microsoft certification, let's just say they have like SC900 and then looking at doing the boot camp, even if they've already had one of the beginner certifications, I would highly recommend going for other areas too. For example, like Azure 900 is great, and so is AI 900, especially because I think Catherine was saying before that a lot of people who aren't in AI, companies are struggling to look for them. They're looking for a lot more people who are AI interested or AI learning. So I think it may be incredibly useful to explore those other avenues within the bootcamp as well, if you haven't done it already.
Thanks, Ryan. And another question I've got in the chat. What is the difference between a student ambassador and an M-engaged internship? I've come across both in the past and believe they have a similar selection criteria. I'm not familiar with the M-engaged internship. Catherine, do you know this one? Or maybe Ryan, I don't know if you might maybe have some exposure to it.
Engage internship. Is there a link, Arvind, you can share with us? I haven't heard about it personally.
Yeah, Arvin, could you maybe explain a little bit more about the M-engage internship? I actually have not heard about this one before. We can also come back to you when we've done our research.
I'm trying to find it in the background at the moment, but if they could provide a link, that would also be awesome. Thank you.
I think one other thing I just wanted to mention in terms of being certified and is just encouraging students to be aware that it's not just mainly Microsoft that is looking for internships. And we get a lot of questions, how can I apply for an internship at Microsoft? Bits of other organizations who use Microsoft tools and products. And you have a much wider number of people or industries and employers to go looking for internships or jobs at because they're using our tools, and you being tooled up and certified and skilled in AI 900, AZ 900, SE 900, those kind of things will stand to you because not just Microsoft, the company is interested in you, it's other people, it's partners, distributors, that, industries, banking, finance, everywhere is going to be using some kind of Microsoft product. So think about that when you're coming to the boot camp, that, not just making connections with us, it's understanding the wider uh, opportunity there is with being certified in Microsoft certifications.
Great. Yeah, great point, Catherine. So it's just, I guess, not having that tunnel vision about just Microsoft, but just that broader range of experience that you'll gain through partners and different other industries, etc. as well. Great. Anyone else got a question? We've got about 5 minutes left. Feel free to come off mute. And Arvid, if you've got that link for M-Engage internship, we can also have a look and see how we can help you in understanding the differences.
Chloe, which of the Microsoft certifications have you done at the moment, or are you looking into them to do in the future instead?
Yeah, good question. So when I started at Microsoft about 6 months ago now, I did my MS 900 end of last year. I did my SE 900 in February this year, and right now I'm working on AI 900. I've got it booked in end of June. I won't tell you when, just in case. Just in case something happens, so I won't tell you when, but end of June is when I booked it in for. Um, and they're hoping to do AZ 900 towards the end of the year as well. So yeah, I got a couple of lined up for the fundamentals.
It's very exciting. Have you found, out of all of them, like which has been your favorite, or which one are you most looking forward to?
I think AI 900, the one I'm studying for right now, because in my role, I'm a co-pilot technical specialist. So it's good to have that foundation knowledge around the different models for AI, and understand a little bit about the statistics side of things as well, which is quite interesting.
Mhm.
I did do a couple of economic subjects in university, and that was a really interesting course for me to learn about statistics and now learning about AI and how that all feeds together. So I find that really interesting. I found when I did my first certification, MS 900, it was difficult, I think, but I realized that after you do your first one, it gets a lot easier. I think the stress and the pressure that you put yourself in the first one, it's definitely not a reflection of how hard it is. It's just that initial maybe freak out that you get, but it definitely gets easier, I think, as you do more.
Yeah, definitely. I think when I was doing my first one as well, I was also like, hands were shaking, a little bit scared, but after the first one, it gets a lot easier. Yeah. No,
For
I'm
sure.
glad that you agree with that. That's awesome. What made you want to go for Microsoft as well? Were you just always like, oh, that's such a cool company, or?
Yeah, so my journey started. There was a program called Codesk. I'm not sure if it's still running, but it was a Women in Technology event hosted by Microsoft, and it was like a 3-day workshop where you learned about different skills. You also had a mentor assigned to you, and actually Michelle Sanford was my mentor in the session, so that's how we met. But yeah, I think I realized the culture was so great. They got a big passion for early in career and women in technology as well. I've always been really passionate about Microsoft's products, and right now we are the leader in AI. So it's also great to be in a role where I'm learning about AI and how we can help customers and businesses leverage AI. And a really great part of, I think, being at Microsoft is you get to do side projects like MSA is my little side project that I do. And so not only are you doing your day job, but you also get to pursue some of the passions that you have. And I'm really passionate about early career. Like I said, I've applied for Microsoft 3 times, so I would really love to give back to students, and this is why I'm part of MSA. So it's great that Microsoft fosters that kind of culture where you can pursue your passions on the side as well.
I do really love that. I like from the time I've been talking with Terry, we have like monthly catch-ups, and he's really like I guess inspired me to try and find work where it does pursue both your passions and also continuous learning. And I think somewhere like Microsoft is really great for that. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that you've also experienced that. It's cool.
Yeah, I think it's all about the growth mindset here. Like we've probably talked about it a lot in our different MSA sessions, but Microsoft really does value growth mindset, which is why we have student boot camps, we have MSA sessions, we've got all these certifications, things like that to upskill yourself. It's all about learning new skills and um, maybe if you've got like preconceived ideas, it's all also about challenging them and learning about new things. So yeah, it's a great culture here at Microsoft.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to learn more about you as well. So thank you.
No problem. Okay, so Arvin, I think he's come back now with um they've come across the internship, I think, on LinkedIn quite a few times, some sort of mentorship. Okay, thanks for sharing, Arvin. I'm still not familiar with it, but maybe we can take a look and come back to you on that one. All right. We are just on time. Next slide I've got is just some survey feedback. We would love to hear your feedback around our sessions. We are also planning our future sessions as well. So if there's something you'd like to see, something you'd like to know about, um, feel free to fill out the survey and share your thoughts as well. We really appreciate your feedback. But thank you, Ryan and Catherine, for joining the session today. It was so great to hear a little bit more about the boot camps, what you got out of it, and how it's helped you to navigate your careers. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the session on Friday, and we will see you in the next one next month.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Chloe.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.